What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with the MLB Week 11 Power Rankings. As always, hit that subscribe button to get us to 500 subscribers, where I will be doing a giveaway. All you have to do to be entered is be subscribed to the channel. But let's get into it here with the hitters of the week. And we have dominant performances like Corbin Carroll and Nolan Jones last week. Carroll, didn't really do too much getting guys in, but he did a lot getting on base, over a 500 on base percentage, and a double, triple, lots of singles, getting on base and propelling his team to an undefeated week. And this guy is leading the race for Rookie of the Year, and in doing so, he's been one of the best players in baseball as well. So maybe even some MVP votes when it's all said and done. Then you have Nolan Jones, the former Guardian last year, played in a short amount of games, and he's only played in, I think, 15 games this year. And so far, once he's been called up, he has been playing really well. Almost a 500 batting average last week, 5 RBIs, 3 stolen bases. This guy is doing it all right now for the Rockies, and gives some life for the Rockies, because they've been pretty bad this year. The pitchers of the week are Blake Snell and Taijuan Walker. Blake Snell, yes, 20 strikeouts in only 13 innings pitched. He had 12 strikeouts in a win against Colorado on the road. In Coors Field is tough to do. And then, he got a win and 2 quality starts. So Blake Snell looks like he started to turn the corner. He had a rough start to the year, but now the Padres rotation's coming around and the team is coming around as well. This could be, one of those late bloomers that finally get it going right around the All-Star break and never look back. And then you have the Phillies with Taijuan Walker, kind of the same thing. He had a great start. He only gave up 4 hits in 12 innings pitched, 2 wins, a quality start, didn't give up a run, and he has looked well in that rotation with Wheeler and Nola, and then Walker performing very well. Then the Phillies could be a tough out yet again in the playoffs if they keep playing this well. And the dogs of the week are the Diamondbacks. They went 5-0 last week. They swept Washington 2-0 and Detroit 3-0. It could have been 6-0 if they didn't have to cancel a game. But they scored 39 runs in 5 games. And then in league, they are pretty much top 5 in almost every hitting category except home runs. Average, they're top 5, stolen bases top 5, and 4th in total runs. And when you have Corbin Carroll, as I said earlier, potential Rookie of the Year and possible MVP, he's been carrying the load. And Zach Gallen could be one of the best pitchers in baseball and possibly win a Cy Young this year. And the duds of the week are my Detroit Tigers. They went 0-6 last week, got swept against Philly and Arizona, both at home. They're 0-9 in June, and they only scored 16 runs last week in 6 games, and it's not looking good. They are getting a little healthier. Kerry Carpenter got coming back from the injured reserve last week, and then Matt Vierling is in the lineup tonight on Monday. So they are getting some help back, but really when Riley Green and Eduardo Rodriguez went down, this team has just hit the fan, and unfortunately for them, they pretty much don't really have a shot at a wild card. So they're going to have to somehow win this division. And right now they're 5.5 back. And they have a big series against Minnesota this week. And if you can go in there and sweep them, then you might only be 2 games back when it's all said and done. The biggest movers of the week, you got Miami, the Phillies, and the Angels moving up quite a few spots. And then going down, you got the Mets, Cardinals, and Twins. And teams I think you would not really see on this list. You would think, especially the Mets moving down 7, Cardinals moving down 4 yet again. So it's been a rough patch for these teams here, but the team that's not getting enough love are those Miami Marlins, and I'll talk about them later. 30 through 21, you have teams that you probably thought would be here by now, and right now the Cardinals, I did move them up too, even though on this they were going down 4. Forgot to change the logo on that one, but we're not restarting the video. So they're moving up 2 after a 2-4 week. Yes, it's not the best, but it's because the Tigers went 0-6 and the Nationals went 1-4. So the Cardinals are the better team there. And then you got both Chicago teams at 23 and 24. Not much to be said except pitching's great, hitting not so much. The Rockies, A's, and Royals rounded out, and Oakland pretty much had last place locked up. If it weren't for the Royals being so bad with all their prospects even coming up now. So there's really no hope for both of those franchises, and it just looks like they're going to be at the bottom for the rest of the year. But if you want to talk about some positive, you have the Cincinnati Reds. Ellie De La Cruz, ever since he's been called up, it's been a different team. and they got lots of young guys that could possibly give the Brewers a run for their money this year in the NL Central. And, who knows? Maybe the Reds can pick it up in the second half and win the division. 11 through 20. Now, this is where it gets interesting. You have lots of movement here. You have the Guardians moving up 1, entering the top 20. The Mariners are going down 3. The Giants up 2. And so we'll keep it out there with the Giants here. That team, I don't know what we're going to get out of them. We're probably around a 500 team this year. And they get production out of guys that shouldn't be producing as high as what we think they would be doing, this year. Back in 2020, that team was just very good. 2021, same thing. They, won 100-something games, and no one saw that coming. And this team just seemingly plays good baseball still, no matter who is on that roster. And then we'll go to 17, the Padres staying put. They're playing much better baseball now, and they need to start shaking it off here before the All-Star break if they want to get back into the postseason mix. The Pirates still playing really good baseball, even after some slip-ups in recent weeks, but they're moving back up the charts to 16. The Twins, the leaders in the AL Central, somehow at 500 with 33 and 33, are moving down 4. And, they got great pitching. Hitting is very inconsistent, and the bullpen has been shaky at times, but Duran, he has been good out of the pen. I think he gave up a walk-off home run last week, but that was his first run given up in, I think, 10 or 11 innings. So he's been very solid out of the pen. But after that, the Twins really need to figure out how they're going to get some bats in that lineup. 14, the Phillies, they're moving up 5 after a very good week, sweeping my Tigers. It's pretty easy to do, but win is a win in MLB, and every game matters. So they're almost at 500. The Brewers are just over 500, but they're moving down out of the top 10, moving to 13. And I think right now it's Brewers, Pirates, and Reds, if they can keep playing how they're playing, for the NL Central. The Red Sox are staying put at 12 after a tough weekend in New York, and they get the Yankees at home this weekend, which should be yet another series that everyone's going to tune into. And just missing out on the top 10 are the Los Angeles Angels. And if you were to tell me at the beginning of the season this team is 5 games above 500 in the middle of June, I wouldn't believe it, just because recent history shows that this team is normally falling apart at this time. And it still could be there, but maybe they're turning a page here with Ohtani in his last year of his contract. They want to try to get him to the playoffs. And starting at 10 of the top 10, we have the Dodgers moving down 2. After a 2-4 week, it's, obviously not the best, but it's still the Dodgers. They find out different ways to win ball games when it matters. They got guys that, we thought Gavin Lux was going to be the new shortstop this year, tore his ACL in, spring training, and somehow, some way, the Dodgers are still getting production out of all the other guys they need to get production from. They're 8 games above 500, still in the NL West race. They're obviously losing to the Diamondbacks right now, but right now, Dodgers still are a team to watch out for late in the season. At 9, the New York Yankees moved down 4 after their season with Boston, which now they have to go to Boston and play them there. And the Yankees, need pretty much their outfield back with Bader and Judge out. It's a big piece that they are missing in the outfield. And then the Miami Marlins, which showed some love last week, and I'm going to keep showing it. This team is the most underrated team in baseball. It used to be the Diamondbacks, but now I think everyone's kind of caught up to them. So I'm jumping on the Marlins here. Even when Sandy hasn't been dealing, you got Eori Perez, Edward Cabrera, he's been dealing. And after that, you got Braxton Garrett, who's been pretty decent. A little shaky at times, but I really like his stuff. And Jesus Luzardo has been a solid ace this year, but no one is talking about that. And I think that's why the Marlins are so good. They have consistent pitching. They get through 5-6 innings, turn it to the bullpen, which is, not a top 5 bullpen, but I think they're close to top 10. And then Jorge Soler has just been mashing baseballs for the last month, and he's been the charge for the Marlins. Oh yeah, and they have this guy named Luis Ariz, who's, consistently hitting 400 right now in the season. So this Marlins team, don't be too shocked if they're still vying for an NL East crown come September. At 7, I have the Blue Jays, and, young talent, Bo Bichette. Could he possibly be the best shortstop in the game right now? I think that's the biggest question there for Toronto. But the bullpen has been shaky at times, and they're going to need to look to solidify that at the trade deadline. 6, the Houston Astros are moving out of the top 5 after a 2-5 week. They'll figure it out. They'll get back on track. Then at 5, I have the Arizona Diamondbacks. 5-0 week, undefeated, beat the Tigers 3 times. And I think it was the Pirates they beat twice, the Nationals twice. And that earns them into the top 5. And pitching has been great for them. Corbin Carroll has been great. Gurriel Jr. has been great. I mean, I could go on and on about how great this team has been and flown under the radar. But they're looking like they might not run away at the NOS, but take a commanding lead if they can keep playing baseball they're playing now. And then the Braves move up back into the top 5, moving to 4 after a 5-1 week. And then the top 3 remains the same, with Tampa at 1, Texas at 2, and Baltimore at 3. And Tampa showed the big guns against Texas, taking the series, going 2-1 against Texas at home in the Trop. And that pretty much solidified that Tampa, for me, is going to be pretty much the team to beat this year in the AL. But you can see there, the top 3 teams are AL, and then the Braves and Diamondbacks NL. So moral of the story is that baseball is in a good place right now. A lot of those teams have very close records, and it could be flip-flopped completely next week, besides pretty much the Rays, unless they go 0 for next week. But that's going to be it for the video this week. Make sure you guys come back next week to check out where your favorite team ranks. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.